Testing 1, 2. H Wolf 3 here. And we're back. H Wolf 3. I'm H Wolf 3. And on the hotline is none other than Roman Claude Rankin. Say hi to the good people, Claude. We're back. And we collectively are The Truth Hurts. And today's episode is called We Told You So. And we're going to get into that in a moment. But first and foremost, let's start off with how you doing, Claude?
I'm just okay. What's going on in the world?
All right. Everything's going good on my end. I'm blessed. I'm in holiness, and holiness keeps me out of trouble. We're going to get into that in a moment. But today's topics, we're going to talk about some very interesting topics. The We Told You So comes about with the Diddy, the Sean Puffy P. Diddy Combs debacle. This man has been accused of everything short of starting Armageddon in the Russian-Ukraine war. This guy has been accused of some of the most heinous things in modern so-called entertainment history. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to think of infamous people from Prince, Michael Jackson. Who else is an infamous? Jim Morrison of the Doors. Remember that wrestler? What was his name? Morrison.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was with the Miz. Yeah. And then even such deviants as Rick James and R. Kelly, they ain't got nothing on this clown. This guy, Bill Cosby, affectionately sometimes known as Phil Cosby, they ain't got nothing on this guy. You said Jello. You talking about Jello pudding? Give me a bowl of Jello pudding. What are you talking about, Claude? You thought of Jello pudding? Oh no, I don't know about that. So we might as well start off with that hypocrite and get this out the way, because personally, I don't want to even talk about him no more. Because every couple of days or every other day, somebody comes forward and claims this man has done raped them, sodomized them, gang banged them, women, children, boys, girls, men. Oh, it's just outrageous. And when we talked about him, had he been arrested yet?
He was saved by his mom. His mom can't save him now. He got too much on him.
Right. So you're not gonna get away with these type of heinous acts. You know, it makes you wonder: is anything about showbiz? Is any of it just anything about it real, or is it just all a big matrix of lies? You know, they always try to claim, if you work hard and blah blah blah, you can be like me. Who told you we want to be like you? I'm just saying in general, the spiel that's told to people from these reality shows. But in fact, Diddy had a reality show. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember the reality show. He could have kept it.
He could have kept it. Yeah, and America's Got Talent, American Idol, which is blasphemy. You're not supposed to make no idol out of nobody. But anyway, there's always this spiel about, I worked so hard and stuff like that, and we perfected our talent and all this stuff and worked hard and blah, blah, blah. We getting our big break because of, right. And then the reality of it is you had to do all these insane things to get in the clique. We're finding all that out through people like Bieber, and what's that other guy, Usher. So these people had to be initiated into this thing. You had to, you had to drop the soap to be initiated, and it tell you that little part. It's gonna be some hard work, all right. Not the type of hard work I want. Anybody else should, for that matter, unless you just a stone nut freak. But let's get into this right quick. I'm going to play a quick video, not the whole thing, but just a quick portion. And this is, I think it's Candace Owen, and I forgot the other commentator's name, but the show was Pierce Morgan, and they're talking about some of the charges facing Diddy. So Candace Owen is being pretty blunt. The other guy is kind of trying to be a Diddy apologist. It ain't working out too well. So I'm gonna play just a little of this, and then we're gonna kind of get into wrap this up so we can move on. All right, you ready, Claude? All right, here we go. This is Pierce Morgan. The show's called Pierce Morgan Uncensored.
Behind the scenes, everyone knew that this is what he was engaged in. This was an open secret in Hollywood.
Did you know about Diddy, Pierce?
No, I didn't, no.
We really are just getting to the beginning of everything. People at the upper echelons of society and politics knew about this and they were okay with it.
I said there's a race piece to this. And people, by virtue of being black, are asked to denounce Diddy because they're supposed to be representing blackness in the black community.
It's amazing, Mark, that you always see a race angle here.
I'm rejecting the narrative that I've introduced race into this conversation. The conversation
you literally said you wanted to bring race up.
You did.
I didn't say random white people. I didn't say random white people in the street. I said white people in Hollywood.
To me, it feels like they're both wearing blackface. I can't sort through all of Kamala's various accents. There's so many of them. She's in front of a Latina crowd. Suddenly she's Selena, and she's speaking like a Latina. I can't deal with it.
As a black person, you should vote for the person that uplifts the black community. That's her. How does she disrespect you?
By placating to me, by giving me word salads and all kind of nonsense, acting like she doesn't have to answer questions, being the artful dodger. And if she wants to get down, act like she's black, well.
The next US president will either be an accomplished state prosecutor and senator or a billionaire real estate mogul who served 4 years in the Oval Office. At least that's how I and many other people see it. It gets bigger and worse for him.
What was going on with him, and because I had read through the lawsuit, and it was just one of those things that was unavoidable because there was so much evidence. I mean, there was picture documentation, there was video documentation, and I also want to be clear that the press and the media and the public at large is shocked by what's happening, but we really are just getting to the beginning of everything. There are a lot of people who have been named that have not been brought to heel, people that were above him, music executives, and none of this is shocking, really. I think, yesterday a report came out that showed that faith in the mainstream media is at an all-time low, right? I think something like 65% of Americans no longer trust the mainstream media. The Diddy case is a perfect example as to why that is. You have people that spent so much time defending this man. This man was allowed to be with every presidential candidate. He was allowed to throw parties. He was hailed as a hero. And yet behind the scenes, everyone knew that this is what he was engaged in. This was an open secret in Hollywood. In fact, when Kanye last year said that he was a Fed and started speaking about some of these allegations, he was simply dismissed as crazy. People at the upper echelons of society and politics knew about this and they were okay with it. Fundamentally, because he was acting a part, I very much believe what Kanye alleged, that he was acting a part like Jeffrey Epstein, in which he was collecting blackmail over various people that were in Hollywood. And so, like I said, we're at the beginning. We're scratching the surface of this scandal. There are some more big names that are going to have to answer for it. And I think also the silence of certain individuals like LeBron James is quite deafening. A person who claims to care so much about Black life, Black Lives Matter, on the ground, taking a kneel. Okay, that's fine. But now you have a friend of yours who has been on camera beating a Black woman. Okay, you said nothing when that happened. You also know that you have various Black people speaking out about how they were abused by him, and you have said nothing. So I don't like the hypocrisy behind that.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I mean, Mark, there are lots of.
All right, so we don't get any copyright trouble, I'm gonna stop it there. So, what did you were you able to hear that, Claude? And what did you think of it?
They don't get LeBron James back, so don't worry. LeBron James, all this that was in the party, they all coming down. They all gonna get. They all gonna get.
Y'all gonna feel the wrath?
That because hard got the wrath in his foot. They don't get the wrath when they go in the tent.
I'm sorry, you said the wrath of who?
Wrath of P. Diddy in the tent.
Wrath of P. Diddy in the pen. Well, that's already in the process. I think he goes to trial in February of this coming year. Yeah. So
Who's gonna be a cellmate?
you said cellmate.
And who's gonna be a cellmate? I just want to know.
I think it's a toss up between Glenn Big Baby Davis and R. Kelly. All right, are you chomping at the bit to talk about LeBron Bron? We'll come back to him in a moment. At these parties, what Candace Owens, was alluding to, is this man had some of the biggest names in the world at his parties. And you trying to tell me none of these people knew what was going on? Give me a break. When Cat Williams did a comedy skit, and I won't show it because it's got too much cussing in it, but showing he said you would walk by doors and see people engaging in all types of heinous activity. And he was like, are you kidding? I can't say what he said, but I was like, are you kidding me? So all these people, Denzel Washington, all these people trying to pretend like they had blinders on or blindfold. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all. They got everybody they claim from Barack Obama to LeBron James. Denzel Washington, that's well documented that he was at his party, but they trying to play it off to my he left early. What does that? I don't know what that means. He left early. Was that before 11 o'clock? I don't know what that means. Before 12 midnight? With all the freaky deaky what started going on. And like she said, people don't trust the media anymore. Because it's just too much lying, too much hypocrisy, too much phoniness. And I don't know. But right now he's in jail in a federal penitentiary in New York, waiting trial. For his sake, he better be in isolation.
Well, I hope he's doing some push-ups.
You said you'll be doing some push-ups?
I said, I hope he's doing some push-ups, man. Where he's going.
Yeah, he may be doing some push-ups all right. Just not the kind he wants. Yeah, it's just a travesty. Ironically, did you see the post I put on the page about Isaiah Thomas, No Crime Day?
Yeah.
When I was putting that old footage together, that was from 1986. We shot when Isaiah had that piece. I discovered on the same tape a video called Scared Straight 15 years later. And Scared Straight was a program that they used to do at the Rawway prison in New Jersey, where they would bring juvenile defenders, like at-risk youth who already were on track to be in the prison system. They would take them in and they would be, I don't know, I wouldn't call them counseling, I would say interrogated by prisoners that were already in the system to try to warn them what awaits them if they end up in there. And from my understanding, when you're in a situation like Diddy's, inmate will come up to you and say, based upon what I saw in this video, an inmate will come up to you and say, okay, Diddy, I want you to hit me in the jaw, hit me in my face as hard as you can. So Diddy may do it, but more 9 times out of 10, he probably would, because he's probably too used to beating up on women that up tough. But anyway, if he refused to do what the inmate said, he would say, well, I own you now because I told you to hit me and you didn't do it. So I own you like you're my little, you know what? But wait, though, ain't no but wait nothing. This is how it goes. So definitely look like it's gonna be a case of what goes around comes around. Because Lord knows he did that to all types of innocent victims. We're not gonna get into that because it would take too long. But any other conclusions before we move on from Dumb Diddy Dum Dum?
I think we wasted too much time on Dumb.
You see, we've already wasted too much time. I thought it would be good to bring it up because this guy has literally gotten away with murder in some cases. You said what?
You already left that. Get out. You got it. You got it. Let me say that again. Biggie died and Pop died. He got more life than anybody else. Because he said, I don't know, I can't say it, I can't judge it. He's the one that I think he had Biggie impact. Death on his hand. He's still on his hand because of that. But then he ain't gonna say nothing about it. Not till he say he ain't gonna say nothing about it.
No, he vehemently denies it. Matter of fact, a woman claims that she was set up and raped by him, gang raped, because she said he killed Tupac. We'll find out if that allegation is true in court because I'm not going to say every single allegation that's been brought forward because he has an open law firm to set up an open hotline, Diddy hotlines, where if you was molested or trafficked or raped or whatever by this man, you can come in and file a lawsuit. So we'll see. We'll see. And maybe the truth about those murders will finally come out. We'll see. Supposedly they have the man who killed Tupac, but was he following orders? Was he paid to do what he did? We may never know in this lifetime, or we may find out. Now I've got a scripture. I think this is the one. Let me see if this is the one. Yeah, this is Galatians 5th chapter 17 verse. Now the works of the flesh lusteth against the spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary the one to the other, so that ye cannot do the things that you would. Diddy operated in the flesh, meaning whatever type of wicked, sordid thing he could do to control people and to sex traffic them, he would do it. And that's one of the reasons why I'm posting that scripture. All right, back for our receipts. Now let's move on really quick to our favorite player, not LeBron James. No, he's not. I'm being sarcastic. He's not our favorite player, but in his mind, he's the greatest basketball player of all time. What did you just say?
the chance in Methuselah, 20 years, 20 years is Methuselah old. Or somebody said, I've been there Methuselah.
Right.
Yeah.
For to be nice, we're going to say the Methuselah from the Bible who lived to be 969 years old. So I think that was Noah's grandfather. I'm sorry, grandfather. What'd you say?
And LeBron James still playing and did 22, maybe 23. That's what he's saying. But now they got his son, and he should just be playing in the college. Don't come out.
What Claude is referring to, what Roman is referring to, is Bronny James, LeBron's son. Recently, they made a sort of infamous history where they played in the NBA game together for the Lakers. Bronny James was drafted in the second round, and a lot of people were scratching their heads like, "Why did you draft this man?" We know why you drafted him, to keep LeBron happy. So he got to do this publicity stunt, and I think they had Ken Griffey Jr. and Sr. there. That was a big spectacle, and they got clowned for it. Instead of people being in awe of it and like it was just so great and everything, they got clowned. So I think they said the show's over. Sorry, LeBron, we got to shut your son down. So from my understanding, as soon as the D League starts, he will be put on assignment to the Lakers, not D League, G League affiliate. And that's where he definitely he belongs, because he was rushed up. Saying he was rushed up is an understatement. He should have stayed in school, like you said, Claude. He should have honed his skills, and if it was really meant for him to be in the league, he should have done it. But it was a case of nepotism, a case of trying to keep LeBron happy, and it backfired big time. And there's no way they can conceal the fact that this young man is not ready.
He came and scored 10 points. I said,
That may be in being kind.
because you're drafted in the basketball party, and you can't do 10 points.
Well, he did score 17 in the last exhibition game the Lakers had against the Warriors, Golden State, but the Warriors was up by about 40. All of the players that were, about to get cut were in. And so they checked Bronny in, and he scored a 17. That was very exciting, but that's not no true barometer of how he is on the NBA level. So they said show's over, showtime's over, time to go back. So time to go back to the minors where you should have been all along. So anything else to add about that? We're not going to spend a lot of time on that at all. Now they're off to a 3-0 start.
So if this gonna be the season, we're gonna see if they bought the LA Lakers bought this season like they did in 2020. I'm gonna call it like
you said both. You mean rigged or fixed the season?
Yeah, they bought the championship like they did 2020. Just for LeBron James to still ring.
You know what? I don't know if there's enough fixing in the world to do that, because they would have to get past teams like Minnesota Timberwolves, Boston Celtics, and I don't think that's going to happen. But I could be wrong. I doubt it very seriously. Hmm? Oh yeah, Golden State. They're still not a joke. And then Dallas. Really? Yeah. Yeah, I don't think so.
That's a
Yeah.
that's fire. That's fire.
Claude likes that combo. Yeah, they're no joke. They're no joke. I mean, I don't even like them, but I would have to be the first to admit they are a threat now, especially with Klay Thompson. Now, that's a good segue into, we're going to talk really quick about the Pistons. They have their new coach, B.J. Bickerstaff, whom ironically we talked about, but in regards to about gambling, sports gambling on some episodes a while ago. But they played, speaking of the champions, they played the champions last night, and they amazingly held their own. They didn't win, but if they could somehow replicate or duplicate that type of effort against some of these lesser teams, but right now Boston is the champs, they're the world champs, they're the best. But if they could somehow replicate that type of performance, they're going to win their share of games, and it would be more than last year. But let's let it play out. The season is still very young, but they're 0-3 now. The first game was relatively close, but they faded at the end against Indiana. And in the next game, to me, was not good. Yeah, Cleveland, which was kind of embarrassing because that's where B.J. Bickerstaff came from. So I know he wanted to do good there, but it just wasn't happening. They just got run out the gym. So anywho, let's hope the Pistons, with their revamped lineup, Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., who came from Dallas, and my man Tobias Harris. And hopefully all that kind of continues to come together. But I've seen, so far I've seen some flashes. They look pretty good. So, but you got to be able to close it out. You got to be a finisher. Can't play for 3 quarters and part of the 4th quarter and then fade. You got to have that killer instinct, like Claude. All right, we get it. Oh Lord! For y'all that don't know what he's referencing, that was an old what was that Gatorade commercial? Was that for Michael Jordan? I want to be like Mike. Not, but anyway, I want to be like Mike. He's a billionaire. Well, that's your business. But anyway, let's keep it moving, and let's segue into. Let's go to the Lions real briefly first. They're off to a great start, unlike the Pistons. They're 6-1. They're 6-1 now. They got through beating they beat them bad too. The Tennessee Titans. A killing. Massacre? Yeah. And you know what? I didn't see the game because I was in church all day, but um, I think the score was 52-14. Wow. Last Lions team, from my understanding, that scored over 50 was during the Brett Perriman, Herman Moore, Scott Mitchell era. Barry Sanders. That's a long time ago. That's like the 90s.
I know Barry Sanders.
You don't recognize some other names? Brett Perriman, Herman Moore? Seriously, Claude? Scott Mitchell was a quarterback.
Yeah, bro.
He know, folks. He knows who I'm talking about. Don't fall for it. He know. You try not to let on how old you are. That's what you doing. Stop. Oh, you killing me now. All right. So yeah, the Lions are humming along. They lead the league in most statistical categories. I saw a breakdown the other day. And, we know that the NFL to a large degree is rigged because they got too much gambling stuff going on for it not to be. But at the beginning of the season, for the first time ever, the Lions were predicted to go to the Super Bowl by the odds makers. So this just it's just their time. They're just their time. I mean, they are destroying teams. They hurt Dallas, so Cowboys, they became cowgirls. They made Jerry Jones lost his mind. The owner crying, was ready to fire some sports reporters, because they was asking questions. I'm like, really, dude? Just calm down. He just asked you a question. You threatening their livelihood. I can replace you. I'm like, dude. Then, what's his name? Chris Christie. I'm like, what? I'm a Cowboy fan. That Dan Campbell has no class. You ought to talk. Oh, this stuff is hilarious. See, folks, you got to remember, if you was a Lions fan, it wasn't too long ago, Lions fans were coming to the game with paper bags on their head. cut out eyes. I mean, the Lions was just terrible. And we was on the receiving end of just the brunt of jokes, utter absolute humiliation for years. So to see them do good, it's a blessing. I didn't think I was going to live to see it personally, but it's happening before our eyes. I mean, they are a fantastic team. And recently, Adrian Hutchinson got injured, and it's like they're not missing a beat. Adrian Hutchinson, their pass rusher, one of their best defensive players, and their team just has so much depth. It just. But what's your analysis, Claude? I know you've never seen nothing quite like this. Too much pain, too much suffering, too much bloodshed. Stop it. The beatings. No, but we folks, we're enjoying this, and I'm not into sports like that. We don't gamble on it. That's against my beliefs. But we do still enjoy watching sports. We ain't that holier than thou. And we enjoy watching sports with men. We like it. And it's enjoyable to see your home team finally do good. Now, let me put a asterisk on this. If the Lions win the Super Bowl, we don't want to see y'all out here riding and acting a fool and doing stupid stuff. Burning the city down. From the Truth Hurts, this is a public service announcement. Be responsible and celebrate responsibly. And we're gonna leave it at that. Anything you want to add, Claude?
And then we're going to do that. If we're going to do the red one, we're going to do with the. Let's go with the red ones right now. All right?
You want to talk about the Red Wings?
Oh, there we go.
Lord have mercy. I didn't. This is, folks. This is going off script because I didn't. Claude is not a Red Wings fan, and he doesn't like. I didn't think we wanted to talk about him, but we'll talk about him. What you want to talk about? I think they're 4-3.
Well, that's a good stuff to go wrong. That would never be my whole thing. But for the people that know to be a fraud, you will never, ever see you better. But over the years, after the people that just got sent, a person that just got sent to the real ones, I might get one. I might get one just to say I got a real jersey.
Wow. You talking about if they have a good season?
No. No, this person on the real ones, I'm going to get his jersey number. His name is Kathy Time. This dude is cold. Kathy Chicago.
Wait a minute. You said he plays for who?
So the real ones now.
No, what's his name?
Kathy Time.
Oh, Kane?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Well, this guy must be good if you willing to wear his jersey. That's a shocker.
And the Undertaker,
Stop it. No. But
that was a joke right there.
I know it was. I mean, I don't have nothing to say. I mean, this is coming from a man, folks, that once walked in a hockey town with a Colorado Avalanche jersey. So so for this man to form his lips to say I could potentially wear a Red Wing jersey, this is like Elizabeth. This is the big one because I believe it when I see it. If you do it, make sure you take a picture. Have somebody take a picture and send it to me, and we'll post it.
Yeah.
Because trust me, folks, this man is not a Red Wings fan. Not a Detroit Red Wings fan.
I went to Pittsburgh, Colorado, New Jersey, and the other team.
New Jersey, you were the Devils? Oh my God! That's blasphemy.
I wanted to Claude Lemieux when he was down with the Devils.
Claude Lemieux?
Yeah. And I was just wearing this Devil. Oh, that's why I played for Colorado.
Right.
Who was the goalie for the Devils when Claude Lemieux?
Oh my goodness, I forgot his name. Oh man, it's on the tip of my tongue. I forgot. What did he call the Dominator? Yeah, I said his nickname. Wasn't it the Dominator?
Yeah, but that's for the Red Wings. I don't know who's going for the Devils though.
I don't care about no Devils. I'm no devil worshiper. I told you this. Did I ever tell on the show the story of how I took their number one pick to Toronto? What's his name? Well, that's bad. I can't remember the man's name. He was the number one pick in the NHL draft. Jack Hughes.
I can't say it because
You said what? You said this is children's TV. What? PG. Yeah, same. Yeah, ditto for me. Once, folks, it's a true story. I took Jack Hughes from USA Hockey in Plymouth. Was it Plymouth, Michigan? I think it's in Plymouth. Correct me if somebody correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But I took Jack Hughes before he was drafted, number one in the NHL draft. I took him from there to Toronto. And let's just say he was drafted by the right team. So because that man took me through, and his handler took me through the flux. I can talk about this now because it's been several years ago, and he's well established in the league. But boy, once he got drafted, I had to take him to Pearson International Airport in Toronto. Oh, you really couldn't tell him nothing. Oh man, he went from a jerk to a super jerk. And I know if he ever sees this, he gonna be like, "That's the guy who drove us." Yeah, I'm the guy who drove you, Mr. Jack Hughes. Now you're a great hockey player, but I hope since then you've been humbled because man, I'm telling you, this guy he was something else. He's something else. But it's we got through it. I was successful. I got paid, and that's that. But I'm finally coming out with my impressions because he was something else, man. I'm telling you. But anyway, when people hear that story, they're like, "What, Jack? Are you seriously?" Yeah, yeah, true story. I'm sorry, what? Well, the ride itself was not cheap. It paid very well, but the drama I had to go through, man, it was just unbelievable. It was unbelievable, and they put me into some situations I could have been arrested for doing stuff that we were told not to do. I'm not gonna say what it was, but I'm just like, this is just totally unnecessary. And I've met big time sports folks before, including Matt Stafford, and none of them never acted that way. What? Okay, I'm not so much talking about the cheap thing. I'm talking, well, I know you are, but I'm more so talking about just the attitude and the behavior. Now I'm sure if he ever saw this, and you never know, he might. He may be like, I didn't do nothing wrong. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you didn't do nothing wrong. You didn't exactly do anything right either, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just a driver, so I'm sure they're thinking is, not, just do what you're told. But there are certain protocols, certain things you got to do, especially in international travel. And when you don't do them, you can get in big time trouble. I thank God we got through it. That's all else I'm gonna say about it. That's it. We're moving on. Next up, we still on the sports. Now I'm not feeling doing no wrestling. I'm not feeling it at all. Let's so we don't ramble on. Let's stick to the schedule because we weren't planning on talking about wrestling. We talked about that briefly before. Yeah, we did. So it ain't nothing new. Let's quickly get into the thing with Caitlin Clark. And then after that, we're going to segue into the tranny thing, the transvestite situation. So let's hurry up and get into that. Let me put up this picture of Caitlin Clark. And I'm going to share the screen with her. Caitlin Clark, she was the number one pick in the WNBA draft. Oops, my bad. She's number one pick And okay, I've got to get my act together, folks. Hold on. There we go. So I got her picture up, Claude, with her lower third showing her name. She was drafted #1 WNBA draft, which I already stated. Angel Reese was her college rival. I think they both won national championships. She ended up. Who did she play for? Was it Iowa? That was in college, right? She set the all-time scoring record. So I liken her and Angel Reese with their rivalry, and one came out on top, and then the other one came out on top. I likened it to the what they call it, Bird Magic back in the day. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird. So for Boston Celtics, of course, Irvin Johnson for the Lakers. They revolutionized the league because you had this rivalry, and they both were like top tier players, champions in college. Then they come to pros, and then they're champions there. They're both elite players, leaders of their team. So this is what has happened in the WNBA. Like lightning has struck again, but this time for the women. But here's what the major difference is. The women get paid, at least for the moment, that might be about to change, a fraction of what the men get paid. Number two, Caitlin Clark said out the gate, I'm a straight woman, I like men, don't pigeonhole me and that other stuff. You know what we're going to get into that in a minute. But, the whole culture, the WNBA has been pushing about the lesbianism and all that junk. Nobody wanted to see that. So when they hit the league, all of a sudden, the WNBA explodes. Their ratings explode. Their attendance explodes. It's off the charts. Indiana Fever went from like an also ran. All of a sudden, they're making the playoffs. Playoffs? Did we say playoffs? they making the playoffs, and they're just going wild. The league is up. Finally, the owners and 80% of the, I think it's 80 or 75% of the WNBA is owned by NBA owners. The teams, they're finally in a position to make a profit. And that was over 20 years ago, folks. So what's happening? Now I heard they never made a profit, but let's be nice and say they made a little small profit back in the day, back in that era. That was in the early 2000s. So you had certain players come out and they started dogging out Caitlin Clark. They started playing a race card, reverse racism type of junk. They was mad because, she stayed out the gate. I'm a straight woman. I like men, blah, blah, blah. They hated that. And she became a target. Despite that, she still broke all types of records, led her team to the playoffs. I don't know if she was named Rookie of the Year or not. Was it Angel Reese or was it somebody else? I'm not sure. I don't think it was Angel Reese because Angel Reese, I think, got hurt and had to have surgery. So I might have to look that up. But the bottom line is she has helped rejuvenate the league. And all these haters like Cheryl Swoops and these different women, that are hating on her, they'll fire them if they've got announcer positions, or they'll sweep them out the way because they said we don't waited too long to make a profit. This woman, along with Angel Reese, but are about to make this league profitable, and we're not going to let anybody stand in the way of that. Oh, you looked it up? Yeah. Yeah, there you go, folks. So this is not an exaggeration. This is real. Now, if you're not a WNBA fan or you don't follow it, you may be aware of this or you may not be, but I mean, this woman has been featured all over the place, her and Angel Reese. And this is real stuff. I mean, it's a once in a generation thing we're seeing happen. And they're not going to let a few haters, or maybe several in this case, stand in the way of this, because you pouring money into something that's never profitable. You're talking about millions of dollars. And finally they got something they feel is going to be family friendly and something they can showcase and not be proud of or whatever. And they're not going to stop that. They're not going to stop it. So that's my take on it. I think Claude is, when we talked about it, he felt the same. But let me get your impressions of it. What do you think, Claude?
I think so what the WNBA is doing right now is good for women right now. We've been taking over a lot of stuff. For them just to have a league that they have. I know men trying to play with the women. We gonna play with you. Transgender gonna play with transgender. Just can't have league. Don't try to play with the women.
Right. You you jumping into the next segment, but no, it's actually related. You're absolutely right. That's a perfect segue, because one of the players, what's her name? Brittany Griner.
Oh yeah, that's right.
To this day, I don't know if that was a biological woman or a man. She was the one got arrested in Russia for having weed, marijuana edibles. I don't know what she had, but they don't play that there. And she got arrested. And next thing you know, they were trotting her out in a cage in court, and it was embarrassing. So people like, we ain't trying to follow that. So Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese represent a fresh start. Now, Claude, you did a great job. That's exactly what we want to segue into about transvestites in women's sports. So let's talk. We're going to talk about that. Now let's start. I'm going to put on a video. This thing has become now the mainstream media want to be like, shh, we don't want to talk about that. But let's talk about it. It ain't, because it's not going away, and this is a major issue in sports. Now, why these cowards are too scared to talk about it, I don't know. I guess they don't want to offend the who?
Whatever the DC alive, the one trying to win the trophy for themselves. The DC one.
I think I know what you mean. Transvestites. They don't want to upset or offend them. That's part of it. The other so-called excuse, well, it's a law, you can't discriminate, but you also shouldn't be discriminating against women, biological women. What's the solution to this? Make them play in their own league. I don't know. All I know is you shouldn't be taking a woman who legitimately, now this is our take, is that you should be taking a woman that was born a woman, a biological, not one that transitioned over. You shouldn't be taking her spot for somebody else because for a transvestite because they have an unfair advantage because they have the male chromosome. So you can take the little shots and all that stuff and so-called become a so-called woman, but you still have the strength of a man.
Look like a man.
And you you look like a man too. Now, here's the thing. It's a situation. This thing has been brewing for a while. At first, it's been going on for a long time. But what I think when it really started getting traction is when the woman female boxer got her nose broke in the Olympics. Did we talk about that on this podcast, Claude?
Okay, talk about it. Just talk about it.
We just talked about it personally. I'm not gonna go down too deep in that rabbit hole because that was back in the summer. But a woman fought what we believe was a transvestite. They tried to claim it wasn't, and they were lying. But they hit this woman so hard it broke her nose, and the woman retired instantly on the spot. She said, "No mas." She did a Roberta Duran and said, "I'm done." We calling it a career right here. And they made that. Here's was the shocker. This woman is explaining what happened in the press conference, and they told her, "You apologize." Apologize what? Because I got my nose broke. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. That was insane to me. So let's move fast forward. We got several situations going on, but here's the biggest, one of the bigger ones. We got a women's volleyball team playing for San Jose State that has a transvestite player. The name of the player is Blair Fleming. Blair spelled Blaire. And this transvestite played and spiked the ball and hit a woman on another team, and that woman hit her in the head or face, and that woman was out indefinitely. So what has happened, the other teams in protest didn't play the San Jose State. They forfeited their game. So this leads to the University of Nevada, whose women said, "We're not playing this Blair Fleming and the San Jose State." And the school tried to throw them under the bus. Now, I'm going to put on a video by a YouTuber. The show is called Black and White Sports. And he got a MAGA hat in the background. We're not saying we support that, but let's look past the political stuff and just look at what he's saying. So stand by. I'm going to put this video and play a little bit of this. Stand by, y'all.
Wow, I can't believe this, guys. This is a follow-up video to my previous video that I put up earlier today, because the Nevada women's volleyball team voted and said, no, we're going to forfeit this match against San Jose State University because they have a male identifying as a female on the team. And we actually worried about fairness in sports. Now, the school themselves said like a week ago or so that the match is still going on. But now, folks, that the players have voted and said, nah, we're not going to play. Guess what, folks? The University of Nevada has come out, guys, and they pretty much thrown their own players under the bus. They made a statement, folks, that is so ridiculous, man. It shows you that they really don't support these girls that are actually attending their school. They don't. Folks, the University of Nevada is saying this match is still on. Now, if the women want to play, that's up to them. Wow. They're showing no support whatsoever to actually keep women safe. This is utterly ridiculous, guys. I can't believe this. It's amazing, man, how fast things will change. This school won't even stand up for their own female students. Maybe Nevada is actually scared of the woke mob or something like that. But let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel.
Okay, I'm gonna cut it off there.
I really feel, I didn't want to do as I was teaching.
I'm sorry, you said what about YouTube?
I heard it, I heard that podcast or as I
Oh, you've seen that? Okay. Yeah, yeah. I posted it on our page. The bigger issue is women's safety. Now, this issue has come up before in track and field, but the only thing that's gonna get hurt in track and field is your pride from getting beat. But there's no risk to the other women in that. But now when you start talking about these contact sports and like boxing and volleyball is not a contact sport from the standpoint of, like the women are like basketball per se. But if you are on a professional level or collegiate level and you can hit that ball with a lot of force and power. And a man is going to have, a biological man is going to have a lot more power than a woman. That just goes without saying. And one woman got hurt and she was out. Then there was another, Lord help. It was another team that played this Blair Fleming in San Jose State. And Blair Fleming spiked the ball and it hit the woman, and honest to goodness, folks, I don't have the video, but it looked like they bent the woman in half. I just couldn't believe my eyes. Now, she said she was okay. But after that, all bets were off, so as the saying goes. And these teams said, we're not playing this guy who identifies as a woman. Because there's one thing to say, I want to be a woman, and then you start going through this so-called process, like Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner type of thing. But if you just a dude and you all of a sudden just say, well, I'm a woman now. Well, I can say I'm a butterfly. That don't mean I'm going to be able to jump off the roof and start flying around. Now, I know there's some people that ain't going to like that, but I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. At the end of the day, I'm still a guy. And even with those treatments, he still has the power of a man. So this is a big deal in women's sports. The mainstream media, which we talked about, what's her name, Candace Owens, said people don't trust it. This is why they don't trust them, because they're not talking about this. They're not talking about this. Why don't you put this out for the public and get some feedback? But no, we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. Man, stop that. But you don't mind seeing these women get hurt? Really? What happened to the Me Too movement? What happened to all this stuff? It's all just hypocrisy. So anyway, that's my take on it. Claude, what do you got? What's your take?
I think they should just ban all the fighting. And I don't know, Oh, when she trying to say with the women, they should just stay in their lane. She should have their own voice. The women already have the best voice. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. You know, if you got a group of people who who don't know what they are. I already Apostle Jennings said this, and I backed him. I backed this up completely. You don't know what you are. Go to a full length mirror, strip butt naked, and you can figure out what you are. You're either going to be a male or a female. Now, if you are not satisfied with it, you know that's between you and God. That's your decision, but you should not risk other people's real women's safety. Remind me of an episode of the Brady Bunch when Marshall got hit by a football on my nose. I mean, just insane. So they're trying to downplay this, but they're not going to be able to suppress it. There's another thing. Well, you know what? It's a thing happening with the Ladies Pro Golf Association. Y'all, when you get a chance, look it up. We're not going to spend no more time on this. So that's our take. God bless those women who are standing up for the rights, because it's no longer about a pride thing. It's about a safety thing. Okay, so we'll stop there. Moving, we got one more to cover, and then we'll do our segment. We're going to have a new segment based upon our, the whole show. It's going to be called, "Hey Man, is that guy crazy?" So we're going to get to that in a minute.
And we're going to tell you what.
Oh, he's chomping at the bit for that part. We're gonna tell the whole origin of that. Now, we got coming up the presidential election. Oh, before we get into that, let me put up a few more scriptures, validate what we're talking about. Galatians 5, 5th chapter, 18 to 21. But if ye be led by the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works, probably should be of the flesh. Excuse me. This is King James Version. Let me start over. But if ye be led by the Spirit, ye are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness. Lasciviousness, by the way, is extreme lust. That's like Diddy. Idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions. That's what they had on January 6th with Trump. Sedition, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness. That's like Lions fans. Reveling. I got to take a swipe at them. And such like, of the which I tell you before, as I told you in times past, they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. Now that's pretty harsh. That's pretty harsh. A lot of people not going to live up to that, don't want to live up to that. But you got to answer for it. All right, we got one more scripture, but let's get to this first. All right, we're on the eve of the election. It's, what is it called? November 5th? Yep, November 5th. We got Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. Who cares? Now, here's my take. I'm only speaking for myself. And I have done this before. So this is not like I'm copying. Well, I'll get to that part in a minute. Personally, I don't like either candidate. and I'm not going to be into this vote for the lesser of two evils thing. I'm not doing it. Now, some people will throw the, well, she's black, you should vote for her, she's black, and all this nonsense. I don't buy it. Some people say, was Trump going to help the economy and stuff? He's wicked too. so I can't support these people no more. Now, I'm doing it from a holiness perspective because I'm in the holiness church, Apostle Geno Jennings, Truth of God. But do you know there are some secular newspapers that won't? Well, secular meaning, it had nothing to do with religion. The Los Angeles Times, of all people, a liberal paper, and the Washington Post won't endorse either one of them either. That's bad, folks. That's really telling you something right there. You got a guy who he a liar. He's Trump. I don't know where do you start. He's been convicted of I don't know how many different felonies. I don't know what to say. I could go on and on. He's always stirring up a lot of racial strife, him and his running buddy, J.D. Vance, and his henchmen. And he's talking about he admires Hitler's generals and all types of old fool. He knows what he's doing. Don't think he doesn't know what he's doing. He's playing to racists. And it's really a shame. Now on the other end you got Kamala Harris, a woman who they tried their best to browbeat that she's a black woman you're supposed to vote for. I don't give a care if she was candy striped, white with black polka dots, or black with white polka dots. I want to look at her record, what she stands for, before I would support her. And based upon what I've seen and heard, I wouldn't support her. You have to remember, it was originally Biden was the nominee. Not that I would have voted for him either. I did vote. I'm ashamed. I'll admit it. We voted for him last time. Don't crucify us. But we did vote for him last time. But, well, I don't know about Claude. I know I did.
Oh, well,
Well, Claude's smart. He didn't fall for the okie doke. I fell for it. But my whole thing was Trump was ripping the country apart. He was good for the economy, but he was all that racial stuff that was going on. So I learned my lesson. And I had to repent. so I'm not voting for none of them now. But back to my point.
I was about to say, I think I voted for Tommy Patrick all over.
You said like what? You said it was like what?
Going for Tommy.
Right. You're right. Pick the lesser of two evils. In that case, it was Kwame Kilpatrick. This is Detroit back in the early 2000s. Pick between Gil Hill and Kwame Kilpatrick. You lesser of two evils. We picked Kwame Kilpatrick, and well, as they say, the rest is history. we got punished, and that's what God was doing. He was punishing this wicked city, and that's what He's doing with this country, because we're gonna be in a world of trouble no matter who gets in. Now, this whole what we're gonna talk about briefly. I'm gonna keep this real short and sweet. This whole thing about Kamala Harris, that's black, you should vote for her, she's a black woman. I don't really care about that, me personally. I'm interested in substance. Your skin color is irrelevant unless of you being a good leader or not. Now, they trotted out Barack Obama, ex-President Barack Obama, and he chastised black men because we weren't getting behind Kamala. Exactly. So they said, well, you need to come up with something to entice them. So that's where this video comes in. So stand by. This is a channel called Melanie King. What'd you say, Claude?
That's always gonna be my vote. Because I'm not voting for nobody until they pay.
You tell you they pay you? They got to pay Claude for his vote. Well, this is what she's trying to do, trying to bribe black men. So let's see what she came up with. Stand by, y'all.
Make sure that we legalize marijuana laws because black men are disproportionately affected. Oh, we're going to give you loans that's forgivable. I thought that was grants. But then at the same time, instead of making sure that we're safer, that we have opportunities, that we have lower taxes, that we can get the jobs that we want, they want to dangle more fruit in front of us, low-hanging fruit, in order to sell us on scraps, in order to get us back into the Democratic plantation. It's not going to work. It's just more disrespectful.
So I've done videos before featuring my friend Anton Daniels. He's another YouTuber here on the platform. And my, oh my, he was on Fox News again talking about Kamala Harris's black male agenda, which is an insult. Most black men are taking it as an insult. They're disgusted by it. And it has backfired, just like the whole Obama thing backfired. Guys, before we get into this, make sure you're subscribed to my new channel, Melanie Offscript. The link is below in the description box, as well as the links to a playlist of videos that I have been doing on Candace Owens' investigation into Kamala Harris's background. And it just blew up, okay, again, overnight, where a witness has come forward and she faked her black family. And now we have, with documented proof, with eyewitness proof, this is a Pulitzer Prize worthy investigation. You are going to want to watch it. You're going to want to share it with everyone you know. It is that critical. It's even bigger than the election. It goes into how deep and how far they will go in order to steal a vote, in order to fool people in this election. And when you see how diabolical all of it is, it's going to scare you. But we've got to get the word out so more people know. But let's get into this video first.
What's going on is Anton.
Okay. You got to, hopefully everybody got the general idea from the introduction. That was just the introduction. Not going to play it any further. Kamala Harris came up with a plan where she was going to help black men get weed dispensaries. What is he, Jamal Bryant now? What type of junk is that? I'm offended by some nonsense like that. I'm not smoking no frick selling no weed. Are you crazy? Hey, well, she's not a man, but hey, man, is that woman crazy? What is she talking about? She talking about? That is just insane. Now, the other ideals, they might not be so bad, but I wouldn't vote for her if she was Kamala the Ugandan giant. I wouldn't vote for her. We used to slap his stomach. I'm not doing it. I'm sorry. And usually I don't go on public record about who I'm going to vote for or not vote for. But in the case of these two, Trump and her, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Now, I'm sorry, what, Claude? You said which clown? Is that what you said? Send in the clowns. Now, what she was talking about, the host of that particular clip, Melanie King, what she was talking about was this Candace Owens investigation. Candace Owens is all over the place. She did an investigation and found out that Kamala Harris, they published a book that showed her with her alleged grandmother and members of her family that showed that she was black. Well, it turns out all that stuff was fake. And the reason why this is why it ended up being a big issue. They kept saying you should vote for her. She's a black woman. People like D.L. Hughley, I'm sorry, Hughley, whatever his name is, kept saying you ain't black unless you vote for Kamala. I'm like, what is this nut talking about? What is you, Bill Clinton? Not Bill Clinton. What are you, Joe Biden now? What is he? How much are they paying you? So they kept pushing that. They kept hammering that. And so I'm trying to remember. I know what it was. What sparked the whole thing. So Janet Jackson doing an interview, and I think she just asked the question. They said, "Well, is she black?" And the host, they just went nuts. What do you mean by that? You're Janet Jackson. You're supposed to know better, you know. So her, excuse me, manager issued an apology for Janet Jackson. Janet Jackson fired her manager. Said, "Don't apologize for me. I asked a legitimate question." So, I'm sorry, what, Claude?
I can talk for myself.
Right. I can talk for myself. I'm not no puppet. So, what are you, Justin Timberlake? But anyway, so that's what sparked the whole thing about they keep pushing this narrative about the black. She's black, she's black, she's black. But yet, when she originally came out, she said she was Indian. So what is it? What's going on? Is she mixed with? So they did an investigation, Candace Owen, and they discovered that the people that she put out as her grandmother and people like that were not her real grandmother. And they were probably more like servants, nannies or something like that. So all that got exposed. So now somebody might say, well, that's shocking. You trying to tell me they would invent up a lie to create a background for her? Oh, yeah, they do that all the time. They do that all the time. They do it in politics. They do it in showbiz. You think these people, they tell you they're from this little small town and they rose from rags to riches and all that. You think that stuff's not true? 90% of it. They create phony backgrounds for people all the time. So, but for them to discover that during the middle of an election campaign, no, I should say in the late stages, that is shocking. that part is pretty funny. So, that's what she was talking about.
About a couple of hours, couple of days, and now we're gonna get new president.
Yeah. We gotta my whole thing now is I have to put my faith and trust in God, because I can't put my faith and trust in man, because they're not perfect. They make mistakes, and in some cases they're downright wrong. Particularly politicians. They look out for their people who themselves, and they look out for the people who back them with the most money. That means the poor are usually screwed, and usually, pardon my blunt language, but the poor are given the shaft, and the middle class, is there a middle class no more? I don't even know if it exists. So we all might be considered poor in a minute, poverty level. So, when you live long enough and you see this stuff repeated over and over and over again, people just get tired and fed up. And what they're terrified of, and why they sicken these nuts on us like these celebrities. And see, Janet Jackson, they mad at her because she's supposed to go along with the program. You're not supposed to question what we tell you to say. That's in their eyes, that's a no-no.
Hey, I'm a grown woman. I'm like 32 years old.
Right. Leave me alone. I've gone through enough, especially with Justin Timberlake.
I have to do my business. I have to do my business. Do my business.
Right. What else you gonna do? Papa Joe. So it's people. They're terrified, I believe, because the spell that they've had on people for all these centuries, it seems to be wearing off, at least for the moment. They gonna find some way to get it back under control. I don't know. We got so much to deal with. We got 3-4 different wars going on. All of them could lead to World War III. So I personally am going to be trusting in God because, no, don't get me wrong. It's important who gets in there. I'm going to just opt to pray for them. I'm going to pray for them that they come to their senses and focus and for once, do the right thing. But anyway, that's my take. Claude, I think pretty much is kind of in line with it, but I'm not gonna speak for you, Claude. You give me your take on it.
I believe that he's on. But if I had to choose one, I might as well take the giant in there. Put the giant in there.
Oh, you mean like you said he got the giant? Yeah. She of the two, she seems, and that's not saying much. Of the two, she seems more sane. At least the country wouldn't be ripped apart by all this racial division. I will say that. But some of her other policies, they're just terrifying. We are not for abortion, and what was the other thing? She's into all this other old madness. I just So, but yeah, here we go with the lesser of two evils. Yeah, she would probably be the lesser. But anybody who would fake their background for votes, I guess in people's eyes they don't even care no more. They don't even care. So if you lie like that to get the black vote, what are you gonna do when you get in office? Did any of these people be trusted? We say no. But we out the matrix, so that's our problem. We see things that the average person don't. So whatever. Right, that's a big part of the problem. Say no to drugs, and everybody's saying yes to drugs, especially that weed. Well, I don't know if you remember, Claude. When we did the election video back in 2020, I said that Trump would be, I received a revelation that Trump will be put out of office, and that's exactly what happened. And he was the equivalent of King Nebuchadnezzar in the Bible, found in the book of Daniel. Now here's the scary thing. Nebuchadnezzar came back into power. Now this man has survived how many? 2 assassination attempts. I wouldn't put it past if he got back in again. Based upon that, what I think the Lord showed me, but don't hold me to it. Well, I shouldn't say don't hold me to it. We'll see if that's the revelation I receive. But sure enough, he did get out. He lost that election. Remember, they tried to. That was what the riots was about, to stop the Capitol riots, January 6th. That was what that was about, to stop the election from being certified, and they failed. And Biden still got in office. So we shall see. We shall see. Now, if we end up being, if that revelation end up being right, that's going to be scary. Because think about it. How many presidents have been in office, lost the election, and then came back and ran again and have been this close to being back in? I don't, in American history, I don't recall that.
Only time I seen it was Barack Obama. He won back to back.
That's true. But I don't ever remember anybody losing, going out of office, and then running again, and now they're close to being back in. I don't remember that even with Teddy. What was it, Teddy Roosevelt? But then I wasn't born back then. But I don't know. It's crazy, man. Hey, man, is that guy crazy? But anyway, yeah, we're going to now, before we give out, hey man, is that guy crazy award? Let's tell the origin of the award. This is dedicated to our good friend, God rest his soul, rest in peace, Perry Clark. He was a good friend of ours. He was he's an honorary member of the Wolfpack Alliance table tennis team. We met him playing table tennis with our club up at Coleman Young Community Center here in Detroit. And Perry was a good dude, good man. Give the shirt off your back. We played a lot of matches together, and we helped train him, and he became an outstanding player. And Perry would always help you out. Good dude. But the origin of, hey man, is that guy crazy, came about because one day we were at the facility, and Perry was playing a co-worker, and the co-worker lost the match against Perry, and the co-worker got mad and took his paddle and threw it against a ping pong paddle now, a solid wood paddle, and he threw it against the wall, and the paddle shattered into a million pieces. So Perry pulled me to the side. He said, "Hey man, is that guy crazy?" So we've been saying that ever since in honor to and remembrance of Perry. So that's going to be a new segment to the show. We're gonna name. We're gonna have that question. Hey man, is that guy crazy? So who are we gonna give it to for this show, Claude? Trump, Kamala, Diddy, Blair. What's that volleyball player name? Blair Fleming. Yeah, I know it's hard to choice because you have so many people acting crazy. I say let's go with the safe choice. Let's go with Diddy. That's the safe choice. We ain't gonna get in too much trouble for that. So let's go with Diddy for, hey man, is that guy crazy award? Because this man, every day there's some new allegation about that. This man done raped some woman. And I said, you had to have been possessed by 10 demons, 10 devils to do something like that. That is just insane. That's just totally insane. Some of the things he's been accused of. Now, we'll see if some of the allegations are true, all of the allegations are true, or none of the allegations are true. Now, we know some of them are true because they're on tape. They got footage of them. So we're going to find out. And I'm sorry, what? Oh, no. And some of these people who are coming forward, they've already, when the incidents occurred, they filed police reports, did rape kit, what do they call it? The test, the rape test, the rape kits. Oh yeah. So this is not just something somebody's making up. No. I'm sorry. Sorry. So Diddy is the winner of the Hey Man, is that guy crazy? Award for this episode of The Truth Hurts, episode 42. All right, that's pretty much it, folks. Any last words, Claude? Parting shots.
Well, it was a great show.
Amen.
And next one's gonna be better.
Oh, absolutely. Well, you did a great job. So my parting shot is this scripture. This is the last one for tonight. I think it's this one. Galatians 6:24. And they that are Christ have crucified the flesh with their affections and lusts. Now, that's easier said than done. I recommend anybody. We post a lot of videos of the truth of God. And I recommend that you watch those videos and you find out how to be baptized. There's a 1-800 number. And get those sins repent and get those sins washed away, because we live in a world now so wicked that a man like Diddy, that guy must be crazy, award winner. This man could get away with his crimes for decades. What type of world do we live in? And all these phonies and fakers that they want you to believe in and make heroes and idols out of are complicit with this nut. So yeah, we got to turn to God. We can't turn to politics. We can't turn to Hollywood. They just going to lead you down into hell. So, and I'm not just talking about the grave either. So that's my final shots. And we want to thank everybody for listening. God bless you. Be safe. Continue to seek the truth. Make sure you follow our Facebook page where we post a video there. And always remember, when you find the real truth, the truth hurts. Claude, great job again. And go ahead, you can say your customary good night to the folks.
Good night, folks.
Good night.
Adios.
Adios, amigos. God bless you. Take care. And signing off from The Truth Hurts.